We'll start collection today. Types of collection. We have discussed how many different types of collections are there. Now, to deal with the large number of element, okay, or sequence of element, we have to work with this concept of collections. So collection itself means multiple element, we can say, or collection of similar element or different element. Then there is some mutability, immutability concept, both in collection. We'll start it from here. Topic is collection, and it provides two different package, one for mutable and second for immutable, just like well and where. And we have it seen many places, like a string also, you'll see it works as a immutable object. So the first package is Scala dot. This is by default one. We know already immutability is always a by default. So Scala dot collection dot immutable dot some name. I'll give it as a star. So instead of a star, I can write my collection name, what collection I want to make as immutable, and I need to import this. I need to import this package to make something immutable, but this is a by default, so no need to do this in your system. This will be taken by your Scala collection by default. However, if you want to make this mutable, then there is another package called Scala dot collection. So Scala collection dot mutable. Then you can use dot and tab. All the option will be listed if you use dot and tab. Then you can see which collection you want to make as mutable. You can import it. This is up to you. Okay, what you want to make. So this is chosen by user. Now we are starting. First point is array and array buffer. Within array we have single dimension array, multi-dimension array, right? 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D, tensor D. So array is, let's go and see the definition of this array first. So array is a collection of similar element. It's a collection of similar element. When it's a similar element, let's say I'm talking about weather report from morning 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. for one day. Let's say today, 2nd June 2020. What is the temperature from morning 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. in Delhi, in Pune, in Hyderabad? So when I'm asking this question, your temperature will come like this, right? If I have 6 a.m. temperature, 8 a.m., 7 a.m. is also there in between. 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. So all the temperature which I'll store here is a collection of similar element, right? Let's say 8 morning 6 a.m. the temperature is 13.2 degrees Celsius. Morning 7, as the day goes on, this temperature will also increase. So 7 a.m. this temperature is at 14.5. 8 a.m. this is 15.7. This is 16.3. This is 17.0. So all the data are double data here. The category is double. Their data type is double for all, right? So that's what I'm calling it, as a collection of similar element or similar data type also, I can say. So this is one example, okay? All the data which you are dealing with, it should be from same category. That's important to deal with array. Now, we are talking about array has two type, one dimensional and multi-dimensional. We'll see one by one. What is one dimension? and what is multi-dimension. So this is point A and point B is multi-dimension. Now, in one dimension array, so this array is a collection of similar element, okay, and what is their nature? So this is the definition in the textbook you'll find, but what is the nature of array? Array is immutable, but their immutable behavior is slightly different. They cannot grow or shrink. So array is immutable. They cannot grow or shrink. So once the size is defined, once the length is defined that this is 4, this is 5, this is 3, this is 10, you cannot make from 10 to 11 and you cannot decrease the number from 10 to 9 also. That's what I'm writing here. You cannot grow or shrink this array here. Okay. Let's go to see the example how array can work. So here I'll try to create one package for collection. I'll give a new package name, and this is Scala. All the collection related concept will write here. Scala dot collection dot or com dot scala dot collection already. Okay. This is one standard format to define your package. Com for company, Scala, and which module you are working with. Collection. I'll create for array, and I'm working currently with one dimensional array. Remember. So let me call this as 1D ARR. This is going to be a one-dimensional array, and in one-dimensional array, we'll see how it can be created. Since you're working with array, this is immutable. No need to import anything. Okay, no need to write this specifically Scala.collection, because I'm saying immutable is always a by default property. By default, it will always be taken immutable object. I'll say this is well ARR is equal to. Now there are many methods to create array. I can create like this. I can say well ARR 1 to 100 dot to array. That's one method to create array. I'll tell you another method. Let me say ARR1 is equal to array 1, 2, 5, 4, 10. This is what is also one definition of array. And I can initialize my array. I can say array2 is equal to new array. So when you are writing new with your array, okay, when you're writing new with your array and you define there is a data type called integer, the size of this is 4. Now what will happen in all of this line, all 3 line? What is the output? Because all 3 line is giving me different output. So this is good. The first ARR variable, this is good when I know that my data is going in a chronological order or they're following a sequence. So I want to create a number between 1 to 100. Hence, I will give this number. This thing is what? 1 to 100, if you're saying, this is the kind of range you're giving, right? We have seen this. You're giving kind of range that from 1 to 100, all the values will be created, and then you are calling the method of array, which is a 2 array. Then arr1 is equal to array 1, 2, 4, 10. Okay. If I know how many element I'm going to deal with, okay, if element is known to me, is known to me, then I will create this arr1, because you're writing your own value here, 1, 2, 4, 10. Similarly, the last one, array integer 4. What you're saying here, create an array, create an array with size 4. Okay, so size is 4, just like 4 element it will keep, but by default it will keep all the element as 0 comma 0 comma 0 comma 0, because this is integer and you're giving 4, so all the time it will keep 0. Since you're writing new keyword here, what does this mean? You're trying to initialize the class array. You're trying to initialize the class array, which is defined object of collection, and then you are assigning that to variable arr2. If this is integer, then you're getting like this. Suppose instead of integer, there is a string. So instead of this 000, you'll get null, 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 null. This is the by default values. After, if string, there is a double, it's neither integer nor string, it's a double, then we will get 0 0.0, 0 0.0, 0 0.0, 0 0.0. Okay. So this values I will be getting it arr2 with new array integer, all 4 different ways. It is up to you now which one you have to create according to your requirement. So array gives this 3 option. Requirement is depending on you. Now I'm creating one function. Let's say I'm creating a function def, and I'm calling show, and I want to see here in this, I want to run a for loop. Okay, so I'll say for I will take all the value of arr1 and print this value of I, whatever value is going. Okay, along with this I can write given arr1 element is this. So first function is created. Look, array collection is mainly known as a traversable object. Okay, so you cannot directly print the traversable object. You'll have to first traverse them using for loop, using while loop. Without traversing, using for each. Without traversing, you will not get any output here for sure. Okay. Similarly, if I want to check, if I want to, let's say, assign for this value arr2, so first I want to print that. I'll say def show1. I'm creating another function here, and I want to use logic. So one second, this is going outside. Let me keep this inside. That's why it was not taking. So def show1, and here I want to write a logic. I'll say if arr1 is divided by 2 and remainder is 0. This is the range, so divide may not work. Cannot resolve symbol percentage. This is giving the same error. Let me print So I need to traverse them first. I'll see what value is there in AR2. So I'll give my second element, which is AR2. I'll say print I given AR2 element is okay. This is the second one. Then I want to assign a value. I will say ARR2 and first index will be having 3 as value. Now this is giving me error because this was well. Why this is giving a little complex type. Let me use this kind of concept later to changing and not changing. I'll print object 1, then main method, and then create one instance of the main method, which is well o is equal to new 1 d array, and then call this function, both the function one by one, using o dot show and o dot show one. Right click and print this. We'll wait for the output. We'll change many things here. Okay, this is just a one code. Many statement you can change according to your requirement. You can call directly from object. You can create a constructor here also. So basic type of array is what we are accessing them based on the index. Array size is always. Let me change the color. Array size is always n minus 1. This is always n minus 1 because your index start from 0. In array, your index start from 0. So whatever is the total size, always it will be 1 less than. If there are total 10 element, then I'll read them as 0 to 9. That's why I'm writing this n minus 1. So array size is always n minus 1. Okay, length is the same as element, but indexing, whenever you talk about, it will always start from 0. So what is the output here? Well, I'll use a println statement to get the better format. So you can see my first function is writing me given ARR1 element, which is 1, 2, 4, 10, and second one is I'm getting ARR2 is all the 0 times 4 times 0 because I have initialized this as 4 here. Now I will change this statement, okay, and here I'm saying I want to assign a new value to array2 index number 05, and then print changing value of array2 index number 0. ARR2 and 0. Wrong type 0 for little type support use. Scala with I think the syntax is different. Okay, let me run now. So I'm expecting that instead of this 0, I want to print 5. Right click and run. So if you see this statement, changing value of ARR to index number 0 is becoming 5 now. So if you print ARR2 again here, okay, after this changes, if you want to print ARR2 again, I'll directly write ARR2. You'll see at first index, 0 index, which is first value, first element will change from 0 to 5 because we are assigning one value here to ARR2. Okay, I want to print this, so I'll again traverse this using for loop, and here is my statement. Whenever you want to print, you have to traverse it. Okay, so I can even handle like this: ARR2 for each element is equal to print element. So this will give me 50000. Print ln. All right, so you can see this output. This is changing. This is changing 5000. This is the one-dimensional array, and this is one method. Okay, you can in fact call from here also. Instead of calling this, okay, let's say you want to use this thing here in the object. You can use this object also, and while creating the function, you can pass this ARR1 as object. So ARR1 is the type of array. T stand for type specific. We have seen that already. Currently this is integer. So let me take. This is the same thing. Here I'm calling unspecified value parameter. Okay, 1 second. This is ARR1. So just like we are writing the same thing, but changing the places of their writing. Sometime I'm writing here, sometime I'm writing here. Let's see the output is affected or we are getting the same output in this case. So you're getting the exactly same output. Why? Because instead of writing this ARR1 inside the class, you have directly written this inside the object. And then you're saying, I will pass this ARR1 to function, which is this function. And this function will iterate all the value of ARR1 to I and print this I. Okay. So you can use like this. You can call constructor if you need to call the constructor within array. This is the one-dimensional array where I can change the value, but I cannot grow or shrink. Okay. Well, if I try to use a plus plus with this ARR2 or this ARR or any of this value, this will not work. Or this value, this will plus will not work, minus will not work, because we have written the statement array is immutable, they cannot grow or shrink. So this is a 1D type of array. Now multi-dimensional array is slightly different. So 1D array we can call as a vector also. In physics term, we can call those are vector, and multiplying vector will give me matrices. So in math, we are using a lot this multi-dimensional array, T-dimensional array. How I'll represent this multi-dimensional array? So this is my one matrix where I'll say this is row by column, R into C. And let's say this is a type of 3 into 4, right? This is a type of 3 into 4, like 3 row and 4 column. 3 row and 4 column. So I will have row 1, row 2, row 3, 3 row and 4 column. I have C1, C2, C3 and C4. So we'll format this C1 to C4. Then I will write some values in this. I'll write element, I can write string, I can write anything. I'll take a number. I'll say 11, 13, 5, 0, 1, 7, 8, 9, 19, 3, 15, and 10. Okay, this is a 3 by 4. Now, how can you create one multi-dimensional array? So there is a function for creation of multi-dimensional array. You want to see one operation on ARR, the same operation you can do here. You can, instead of calling without a function, you can directly use them. You can say for loop ARR. Oh, sorry, this is I1, and I'm taking all these values of ARR. Print this is range giving values in order or sequence, and I'll write here I. So this is not inside any function. What I will try to do this time, I'll try to comment this other line and want to print that line only. So I'm giving multi-line comment to my other functions. This is where the class is ending. This is I1, and I don't need this things also. So I'll remove this line, or I can comment it also, this line. You can call anonymous function and access this, right? Since this is a for loop, no need to call. There is no method, there is no reference. I'll call this 1D array, and that's it. If I just run, I'll get the answer. But other mutability option will not work because range is immutable. So this is the values I'm getting from 1 to 100. If you want to get just few values, okay, you can write a logic definitely. Let's say you want to get values which are, let me make this as well. If I want to divide this value, that will not work. If I want to add anything, that will also not work. So let me try to do this thing. If I say, well, result is equal to ARR dot filter, I'll do filter this, and I'll say I only need all the value which are divided by this. So we know that this gives us error because of this percentage. One second, X is this, yeah, this should work now. So I'm writing a lambda expression here inside the bracket. Inside this bracket is known as a lambda expressions. What do we mean by lambda? Let me get the output first, then I will explain the output. Now here I'm saying I need all the value of X to be multiplied with itself, dot I want to add all the elements. I'll say reduce, and here I'll say A comma B. Whatever I'm writing inside the bracket for map, reduce, and filter, this is all your uh, lambda expressions. So I don't want to call this time. I want to print this is okay. Now let me say println and right click and execute this. So you're getting one answer as 17,000, 1,71,700. Can I take a small number to understand this better? I'll say 1 to 10. And we'll prove this output. This is coming as 220. Now here is your explanation. ARR is an element. ARR is a variable which is having value from 1 to 10, 1 to 100, whatever values you want to take, dot to array, which is creating one array and storing inside this ARR variable. We're storing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, from this number, we are using this three major concept of filter, map, and reduce. These are created for transformation, very useful in Scala. Now I said I only want to access, because this range I was unable to access directly with any modulus, because I cannot apply any direct operation on this because this is a range, right? So what I did, I have used a lambda expression, whereas this x is my one element which is transforming this x. Now what value we are having in this x? What value is there in ARR? Yeah, this ARR value is the same thing. This ARR, one second. This ARR value is the same thing as this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this ARR will have all the value to x one by one. Okay. So how the operation will work right here in the filter. I'm only talking about filter currently. Do not focus on this map and reduce. In this filter, it will try to check how many element is divided by 2 and this is equal to 0. The remainder is 0. They are checking for all the element 1, 2, 3, and such that this is going till last number, which is 10 mod 2 is equal to 0. For this condition, this is failed. 1 can be divided by 2, but Remainder is not 0. Remainder is 1. A smaller number is dividing by the bigger number. The smaller number itself is a remainder. We know that. 2 modulus 2 is equal to 0. Yes, this is true. 3 modulus 2, this is not true. This is true. So this logic is actually created for take all the even numbers. The logic which I'm writing inside the bracket, this is uh, created for ARR in saying that take all the even number, which means after filter operation only 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 will be stored. Okay, will be stored in this res. After filter operation, only this values will be stored. Now filter thing is done. Next, you're using their dot operator, right? This is the operators. These are the operand. So what do we mean by this dot operator? What is the use of this dot? Actually, this dot is carry forward operator. So let me write it. This dot is known as a carry forward operator, which means whatever is the value of ARR, it will carry forward to filter. Whatever is the output of filter, it will carry forward to map. Whatever is the output of map will carry forward to reduce. This is why Scala is very concise, because in single line, I can write many things there. Okay, in a single line, I can write many information, many functions. So filter output is done. How map is doing? What is the use of this map? This map is doing because this X has stored all the value of even number in between 1 to 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So X is equal to, this is a transformation sign, X into X. X into X means 2 into 2, 4 into 4, 6 into 6, 8 into 8, 10 into 10. Let's do that. 2 into 2. This is what it is doing your all the value of X. Then 4 into 4, 6 into 6, 8 into 8, and 10 into 10. This is what is the output of your map. And you can do anything, right? X into X, X into 2, X cube, any transformation you can do. 2 into 2 is a 4, 4 into 4 is a 16, 6 into 6 is 36, 8 into 8 is 64, and 10 into 10 is 100. Now, if you add all the points from 4 to 10, 4 to 100, if you add all this point, you'll get the same answer, but I'll tell you the explanation of adding also. So map thing is done. After map, we'll see this reduce. Okay. Now, reduce is working as an accumulator. If I use a shorthand, I'll call this as an accumulator. What do we mean by accumulator? It is accumulating their values, adding their values. In simple layman terms, I can say adding the values. Now, you are giving a comma b transformation a plus b. So how this works? Remember, this is your mapper output. Okay, this line is your mapper output. So after using this dot, this answer will be carry forward to reduce, and reduce will do a is equal to 4, the first value, just like a Fibonacci, and b value is 16. A is 4, b is 16. It will start from here. When they add this a and b value, right? So when you're adding this a and b, which means this a plus b, you're getting a new result, which is 20. 16 plus 4. This will be initialized to a again. Whatever is the output of this will be initialized with a and whatever is the third element, it will go with the B, which is 36. Now, whatever is the output again in this A plus B, again it will assign to A because that's what your accumulator does. 20 plus 36 is 56, and B is equal to this time 64. B is 64. This is 60 plus 50 is 110 plus 6 plus 4 is 120. So A is equal to 120 again, and B is equal to 100. And A plus B, if you do it last, A plus B is 120 plus 100, and this is giving me the same output as this, which is 220. So here I'm using my lambda, I'm using my functions, different approaches to get this output. Now we can write a standard or advanced Scala also. Okay, many times you will see Scala uses this kind of math or the concept. Instead of writing this, they can say, okay, let me write this as underscore if it works. So I think underscore. So here I can use here very well. Or maybe if it works like this, so multiply will not use it. Okay, here I'm using before this. So not worry, output is same. I'm just trying to write with a different syntax. Output will come as same 220. One reason I will tell you writing this underscore values. If you check the output now, output is coming as 220 only. Now how I'm reading this? So instead of calling XYZ, okay, or any other variable name, we are using this underscore. So this underscore in Scala is known as a wild card character. This underscore is a wildcard character in a Scala. This is also wildcard character. This is a wildcard character. So earlier the same statement I have written as x transforming x modulus 2 is equal to 0. This is what I was writing. So instead of this element, let me change the color. Instead of this element, I have changed this to underscore, right? So you can try doing this. This is the advanced one. If you're not comfortable with this underscore thing, you can run this thing also. Not a big deal. Similarly for reduce, if I explain you for map, it is not taking. For reduce, it was earlier a comma b transforming a plus b, right? Now, wherever is the value, actually we have to consider the operand only, not the we have to consider the operator only, not the operand. So A and B is the operand here, and this plus is the operator. So what I was doing, I changed this to underscore, I changed this to underscore. So you can try with this. This will take more on the practice, how you can use this with different variable and get the output. So it's not about standard project, which one is recommended. I'm telling this because in a Scala you will find many times they're using this underscore. If you read the textbook, Scala cookbook, uh, okay, so you'll find there is an underscore. So we shouldn't be confused with this. But I feel if I'm comfortable writing this, I should write this. If I'm comfortable writing the previous one, I should write that. Nobody will going to uh, discriminate you that you're writing this way or that way. people understand. Okay, maybe if you're saying that your senior is color developer, they can ask you few questions related to this, but nobody, this is not a logic. This is just a syntax. If I'm a programmer, I'm more focused on the logic. What logic somebody's building, okay? Because if somebody logic is clear, then syntax learning is just a day of work or two. Syntax writing is not taking more time. That's why we will focus on these things now. So that's about single dimension array. Multi-dimension array, we have seen how we are going to create. I'll create the exact replica of this in my new class. So quickly, let's go to collection and start creating one multi-dimension class. In multi-dimension class, the name, how to define this is different here. I'll say, well, MARR is equal to array of dimension, and then what you need a integer comma integer. So sometime I confuse with the syntax. Let me see what syntax we're using here. This is, let's say, 3,4. So hopefully this is integer only, and it's still giving error. Can I change this to this sign and this to this sign? Yeah, that's good now. So 3 into 4, 3,4. We have given 3,4, and this is the type of array. That's right. This is array type with integer. It doesn't confirm. I'll say take by default whatever value is there. Now I will assign the value, then I'll iterate. Okay, I'll say MARR. I'll change all the value. I'll say 0, 0. Actually, in Python we uses that syntax, so I sometime write the Python syntax here. MARR 0. This is 11. Now, 1 second here. Very important thing. How will you access any element here? Okay, because if it is just a one-dimensional array, it's very easy to access. But let's say you want to access this. So you'll access this. Obviously, you'll store this matrix in some variable. Let's say MARR, the one which I'm using there. So I will use MARR row and column. What is a row? Row is a 2. I'll say second row, and which column it is. This is third column, so I'll write second row and third column. This is how I will access this. Here also same thing, MARR 0, MARR 0, and 0 will have, so 0 row and 0 column. This is what it means. Okay, 0 row and 0 column. So I want to give here the value for 11. Quickly, we'll move ahead. MARR 0, 0 row, first index. So let me just copy and paste to increase our speed. This is 01, 02, 03. First row is done, or you can call, if you are calling by array, you can say first index is done. Then MARR This is 1 of 0. I'm just formatting it. Okay. MARR 1 of 1. MARR 1 of 2. MARR 1 of 3. And I'll change just one value here, MARR from 0, 1 to second second row. So I will read like this. Currently, all the values initialized 0, 0, 0, 0. First row 0, 0, 0, 0. Second row 0, 0, 0, 0. Third row, right? So row 1, row 2 is done. And now I'm going to row 3. But since this is indexing start from 0, that's why I'll be calling this is 2. Okay, so 2, and I want to change this value number last 2 of 3. This is 11. This is 083. I'll write this value 11 0 8 3. Similarly, here we'll have some value 13 1 9 15. 13 1 9 15, and this 2 3, second row and third column. Look, here I'm calling second row, so let me do one thing just to avoid the confusion. I will call this from R0. I'll say this is R0, R1, R2 because indexing start from 0. Mathematically, we always create a matrix like this, so I have created earlier, but now I'm fitting with my array. So when I'm saying second row and third one, which means this value 10, I want to change this to 10. Once you have assigned all the values to your variable, now you can use a for loop to iterate them, or maybe you can use directly dot for each method. The element is equal to print element. Print element. So this will give me the answer. And creating classes better work, or creating object is better here. Can I say this is object? This is more better, I think, right? Because no need to initialize this. I can call a main method and no need to initialize this. You can just run this and you'll get the output. The best part, you'll get the output like my multi-dimension array. So you can access them, you can change the existing value, but one limitation, you cannot. One second, we're getting the reference of it here. So since we don't want to get the reference, can I use a for loop for i's and all the MARR values going there, then println I. Just also taking reference. We'll do one thing. We'll continue from here. We'll see how this multi-dimension can be accessed. But multi-dimension concept is very useful, especially in the math, in the data science area, where we'll be dealing with large number of dimensions. Dimension is as similar as number of columns. We'll see this part tomorrow.